rules.
Start churning butter and put on your church shoes, little sister, because we're about to blast off.
Ralph, what is it you're trying to say?
We're going to the internet. Wow, look at all this stuff.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No. Are you guys okay? Should I call the police?
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Shouldn't it be Ralph Wrecks the Internet?
Yeah, since he is Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, but break the internet, it's like a thing.
Right, it's just wreck the internet kind of sounds better, doesn't it?
You're not wrong.
Hey, welcome back to Bandwagon fans. This is Jeff.
Jason.
And we are going to be talking about, this is Thanksgiving Day, and we're going to be talking about probably the big holiday movie this year, or the Thanksgiving movie, and that is Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah.
So we caught this a couple nights ago. First overall impressions?
Boring in a lot of parts.
Yeah. We obviously coming out of the theater we talked about it a little bit, and then this is going to be a spoiler review. We're not, we're just going to talk about it. Really, I was actually kind of surprised at how long it felt, and how fidgety I was watching it, and in full disclaimer, this is definitely a movie made for kids. So
Yeah, it is.
I think we're going to be talking about this from the perspective of adults going to see it, acknowledging that we are not the target audience. But is there enough in this movie to keep an adult entertained for almost 2 hours?
I mean, I heard consistent laughs by the audience. We went to a pretty packed house. Yeah, I mean, a lot of mom laughs. A lot of kid laughs.
Honestly, I was kind of checked out because.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. The movie started off pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, you hadn't even seen the first one.
Right.
I saw the first one with all of the build-up and everything. So yeah, it just kind of introduces you to how, the two main characters still have that friendship, that relationship where they meet up every day.
Ralph and
Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope. Yeah.
And Wreck-It Ralph played by John C. Reilly, Vanellope played by
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
So, they're going through all of their routine, and I guess life's getting pretty mundane for Vanellope.
Yeah.
Right? So...
Yeah, Vanellope wants more.
Right, Vanellope wants more than just her 3 races in her game and all of the routine that Ralph is very comfortable with and likes. Because he spent, most of his life not being included in anything, being the bad guy, being the guy that wrecks everything.
Yeah.
So that was established in the first movie. So, anyway, the owner of the arcade gets Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And they get an explanation as to what Wi-Fi is, its meaning, its point. A couple little girls play Vanellope's game. They end up breaking it.
They break the steering wheel.
Basically, what it was Vanellope was telling Ralph she wants to change. Ralph takes it upon himself to kind of make a new track out of one of the existing tracks.
Yeah.
She goes off the path. The girls trying to control the game kind of go against her avatar character, break the steering wheel.
Right. And then they have to go on the internet. They find a new steering wheel on the internet.
Well, why do they want to go on the internet? It's over the steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
The only place the game's so old and the parts aren't made anymore. The guy finds a listing on eBay. It's the only place he can find it. $200. The owner decides to be like, we're going to scrap the game. I don't make that much money off of it.
And then they actually go out and they're now in the internet. And for me, this is where the movie started really falling apart. And this is like 15, 20 minutes in. Because when they first get to the internet, I'm like, this looks like the Emoji Movie. And it looks like Ready
That's
Player
what I never
One.
saw.
I never saw the Emoji Movie, but I saw enough of it to know that it had the same kind of feeling of we're just we're just gonna cram pack every brand name you know in a scene.
Oh yeah, it was
All
only
that.
the internet
Hey,
version
you
of that.
know this, you know this, you know this, and try to manufacture a connection to the movie, and the actual characters and stories kind of got lost by the wayside.
Definitely, and the fact that you didn't have as many engaging characters as in the first, like Fix-It Felix and his wife were an afterthought in this movie.
There were three other characters that were introduced in this one. One was the let me see if I can pull up the guy who was
who prompted you to make it money?
for the
Who was that actor?
sorry, I can't. So you had Taraji P. Henson was playing Yes.
That was Yes.
She was the main algorithm for
and she was acting like
BuzzTube.
and she was kind of like a music producer type of character. Yeah.
And then you had Gal Gadot, who played Shank, and Shank owns a race car in an extreme racing game.
Yeah,
I'm
like a
blanking
Grand
on-
Theft Auto type of game.
Basically like this movie's version of Grand Theft Auto. Shank played the main one of the drivers in it. She had this really super exclusive car, and
they had to earn so much in credit because they didn't have actual dollars to pay for the eBay auction they won for the steering wheel, which they didn't know eBay rules, so they kept just fooling around with the bids, and they bid it up to an enormous price of $25,000, I believe it was.
27,000. Anyways, so that's one segment of the plot was now they have to get this car. They end up not getting a car, so then it was almost like a series of episodes where one plot would end in 10 minutes and then another whole new plot line would kick in and then that one would end. And that's what I think really why the movie kind of failed, why it was hard to watch after a while, because I'm ready to leave, man. And
Vanellope was on her own tangent with wanting to be in this adult, more extreme racing game.
Yeah.
Ralph was out there trying to get the money to get the steering wheel to get them back to the arcade. And then also, I mean, you kind of have this where they just all kind of went to Disneyland, and she rendezvoused with the princesses, which was kind of the highlight of the film.
Yeah.
Where all the Disney princesses, they were kind of amazed with her appearance, how she was very dressed down and comfortable. She got outfits made for them, and it all looked like kind of a sleepover where they were all like in comfortable casual outfits.
And we both agree that the Disney princesses stole the movie.
Yeah.
That was the highlight.
They should have a movie just with all of the princesses.
That was definitely the highlight of the movie. And once it left them for a while, the movie dragged again, and it didn't. And there was a couple minutes where they came back, and it was entertaining again. Mm-hmm. Outside of the Disney princesses, though, this movie was
and you had your Star Wars cameos. They threw in some Stormtroopers and C-3PO just to remind you they own
and
that.
That's what it was. So I think there's this bigger trend in what you're seeing in a lot of these kind of movies where they've forgotten what an Easter egg is. Mm-hmm. An Easter egg is something that it's pleasant to find it because you weren't expecting it, and it's in a or it's put into the video game or the movie in a really clever way. But a couple of these movies, just like every scene that is so chock full of this stuff, every frame, every scene, that it loses all relevance. The Easter egg is actually finding something that isn't an Easter egg. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
Well, no, that's cool. No, I mean, totally. I mean, so, it kind of had endings where you thought that the movie maybe was going to be over and then just goes all again.
I was wishing it would end.
Yeah, it kind of was like that, though, how it was really broken up like that. And like I said, it lacked a lot of the characters that made the first one, interesting. I mean, it really put the focus on Vanellope. Some scene out of nowhere where earlier on in the movie, the princesses were asking her, well, what's your song? We all have a song where we're kneeled in front of the water and we sing about what we want our lives to be. And so her moment came in the Wreck 'em Up game, in this racing game, where she's like is kneeling down in front of a puddle, and then just out of nowhere this song appears, and he's just not wanting it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens where, I mean, I just kind of looked over you and go on a song. This is what we get. It's just, I don't know, just things kind of seemed, it could have been edited a lot better. They threw in a lot of stuff that wasn't needed.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you were talking about like how like there's scenes in the trailer that weren't in the movie.
Well, okay, so at the end of the movie, I was done. I had to leave.
Yeah, you left.
You stuck around for the entire.
Right, I had a feeling being a Disney movie, there was at least going to be a midway credit scene, and
No.
there was a midway and a very ending credit scene.
So going into the movie, I was actually really excited to see this because of the trailers.
Yeah.
And there was one scene in particular that just had me dying laughing. Mm-hmm. And that was, from the trailer, it's the scene where he's stuffing the pancakes in the bunny's mouth. And, you know, and it just cracked me up. I thought, man, if that's how this movie is going to be, I'm down. And
then you got so frustrated, you just had to get out of there, and it was the mid-credit scene is what that ended up being.
Yeah, so...
And it started out with the mom going, "Did you like the movie?" She was watching on her iPad, and the little girl goes, "Well, there was a scene that was in the trailer that went in the movie, and it made me sad." Yeah, and then the mom goes, "Oh, that's too bad. We'll play your game. That makes you happy." And the game was the bunny game, and what it was, I guess it's more in context with the theme of the movie, how they kind of rated other videos, and there was a segment where Ralph was like an internet celebrity mocking a bunch of other internet videos. So he goes into this video, Ralph like invades this video that the girl's watching the game, and he keeps giving the pancakes to the bunny, and he ain't giving the, I forgot what the other item was. It was like pancakes, and then you gave ice cream or milkshake to another animal. He just kept stuffing the bunny with pancakes. And then it would end up where you heard the pop sound with the girl watching. She goes, "Ah!" Yeah. But then there was another credit way at the very end. If you stick around at the very, very end, there's a mock of the Rick Astley video, "Never Gonna Give You Up," where Wreck-It Ralph's singing it. It's about a minute, and then they're like, "All right, we're done now. Go." You know, kind of like you stuck around for something silly, kind of like what they did with Captain America with the was it the Avengers movie?
Yeah, no, it was Spider-Man.
It was Spider-Man, right,
Yeah.
right. The PSA.
No, they definitely didn't do that at the end of Avengers. So.
No, I forgot. I think it was Spider. Yeah. But anyway, it was similar to that. So there's stuff to stick around for. Granted, the credits are 20 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of people were involved.
I was in the lobby waiting for you.
Yeah.
And I ended up leaving.
Yeah.
I thought you had left and gone out a side door. I was waiting for a good 7 to 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, it just wouldn't end. I mean, you get the midway scene really quick with the little girl in the minivan, but to hold out for that Rick Astley, you really want to see it because the credits are like 20 minutes.
So for kids. Is it
4 kids by kids? That used to be an old slogan. I forgot who said that. Yeah, I mean, if you have kids, I get why you're taking them.
It was like a youth program.
4 Kids by Kids, I think so.
It wasn't. I can't remember if it was on Nickelodeon or.
Yeah, followed. You can't do that on television, probably. God, that was a good show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
Tangents.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. If you have little kids, you're gonna want to take it. The new characters introduced, like Bland, the guy with the cabbie and his little helper,
right?
Who wore this turtleneck over his mouth.
I couldn't figure out who he was. And
okay, where he takes him, it's kind of like it's this rundown shack he lives in. It's really funny.
Shank. So I'm just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Shank was played by Gal Gadot, and we were talking about Wonder Woman. From everything I've seen from Gal Gadot, she has one note that she can play. And it's kind of an optimistic, upbeat, and this character was the exact same thing. It was bland.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing funny about the character. It
could have been anybody. There was no personality really.
Zero personality. Whereas like one of the other highlights of the movie is just Ralph himself. John C. Reilly's character comes through in the voice. It comes through in the animation, and you feel like you're watching. You literally feel like you're watching John C. Reilly, and
yeah, he owns the character. That's usually what it is,
And same with Vanellope with Sarah Silverman. I enjoyed watching the two of them. It's just everything around them. it just dragged so much.
And it's really too bad that not more of Fix It Felix and the character, who's the wife's, anyway, her character. The couple scenes that they showed with them being the parents, they were like the adopted parents of the other racer kids when the game shut down. Because what happens when the game gets unplugged, all the characters get erased unless they can get out of the game into that little hub where they're kind of protected. So they got all the characters out of the Candy Rush game. Candy Sun, I forgot what that is.
Oh, that was a whole nother storyline.
Yeah, and then it's just, they kind of just forgot all about all these other characters shacked up. What it was most of the people in Fix It Felix's building harbored all the characters, and Fix It Felix himself harbored the racer kids, and they were all just self-absorbed rats. So but then it ended up, you only saw a few scenes. You saw 2 scenes where they were working out trying to be parents, and you see the very end where they're like the perfect parents and all the kids are great and well behaved and they're but you didn't get any development with that. It's just like you got this, that, and then the other.
We only got a couple minutes left. There's one other thing I wanted to touch on and it probably deserves a bigger discussion, but I want to keep this kind of short. The overall theme that got hammered home at the end of the movie about friends don't smother each other, friends let their friends go off on their own. There was almost a point in the movie where it was kind of veering towards a really creepy territory that was probably not. The movie's clearly directed at like young kids. Yeah. And some of the themes were probably a little too. How she ended up not going back, but just staying in that mature game. Before that. It was almost setting up Ralph to be. It was almost establishing that they had an abusive relationship, where he was basically terrorizing her, because of it, to keep her to keep her from leaving, and it just felt a little squeamish for me, like it was like as if it give kids like the wrong message as to like control freak type of thing. There was a news story a little over a year ago where boys were being told, or girls were being told, not to say no to boys at this particular school in Utah. Don't say no to boys because it hurts their feelings. And this movie started veering in that direction. They pulled it back, and it actually had a more positive message. But there was a few minutes where it was getting a few minutes. I mean, but yeah, it did end with him accepting the fact she needed a change, and how they were kind of just like that they would see each other on off days, if you will. Yeah. Like they each had their own job or whatever. Because she did stay, by the way, Then Albie in the end did end up staying in the mature game. Yeah. She didn't go back to the Candy Rush or whatever. Yeah. So So it just felt tonally it was so out of sync with the rest of the movie that it just felt. I don't know. It's like what you said. It didn't feel like a cohesive movie all the way through. Yeah. And way too much add-on, too long. Yeah. But anyway, so I think for kids, most kids are going to enjoy it. But for the adults, it's probably going to be kind of a tedious slog. The reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. It's got. Like I said, I heard a lot of kid laughter. Yeah. So I think it's 8.6 on IMDb, 80% on Google. Overall solid reviews. But for us, take our opinion with a grain of salt. For the time they were allotted, it could have been structured a lot differently. Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for watching. This is Bandwagon Fans talking about Ralph Breaks the Internet. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button, and please subscribe to Bandwagon Fans to keep up on different movies coming out. It's going to be a pretty busy season coming up with the holidays. Pretty busy. Once again, I'm Jeff. Jason. Get on the bandwagon. Happy trails.